Bitcoin is much more than just gold. It's a digital empowerment for the future of the metaverse and everything in between.
Welcome to the Financial Fox, finance, investment, and crypto with a twist. I'm your host, Steffy B. I'm the founder of PR company Cassiope Services, and every week I bring to you my favorite conversation with investment experts, market disruptors, movers and shakers, and the coolest project in crypto. A few days ago, I had a great chat with Nik Bathia, author of one of the most interesting books I ever read about the history and evolution of money. This book is called Layered Money, and you can find it on Amazon. And he has a very interesting perspective on why Bitcoin is superior to other cryptocurrency, and also the fact that Bitcoin will become the world reserve currency. So if you are interested in understanding what crypto is about, then watch this interview and start to learn about Bitcoin, because that will be the first step for you to understand the crypto revolution. So this video is just a section of the long interview I had with Nik, which you can find on our podcast. So go on Spotify, Apple, and search to Financial Fox, and you will find the interview there.
So Bitcoin is actually a first layer of money where PayPal or even your checking account are third or fourth layers of money. They're not even close to being the same thing. And this concept is not well understood and I thought needed to be explained. And so that's why I wrote Layered Money. I wanted to explain the history and then explain why Bitcoin fits into the future of layered money in a way that it's actually going to be used as a reserve asset, as a first layer of money, not necessarily the only first layer of money next year or anything dramatic like that. But over a long period of time, Bitcoin is already rising up to be this premier monetary instrument used by every continent.
Can we think about the first layer of money like the peg on which everybody thinks about money? So if I think what money is, then you think about the peg. So whatever is gold, whatever is the dollar, or whatever is Bitcoin, that's basically a way of thinking about money. Is that fair to say?
It's correct in that, I believe the Bitcoin denomination is going to take form in that people start thinking in terms of Bitcoin. But today, with the dollar being the denomination of choice, what we call everything in terms of earnings or global GDP, the dollar is not a first layer of money. It's the unit of account of the system that dominates the world. But in this layered money framework, the dollar, it doesn't really have one definition anymore, because you call your checking account dollars, you call your cash dollars, you call your money market fund account dollars, but they're all different instruments and they're all either on the second or the third layer of money. Whereas US Treasuries, the US government bond owned by the Fed, is the only form of dollars that doesn't have any systemic risk. The only risk is of the US government itself. Bitcoin is more like US Treasuries than the dollar. Yeah. And that's one of the main takeaways from the book as well. And then with my publication, The Bitcoin Layer, which I write on Substack, it's a paid and free publication. So it's only $10 a month. So I hope that people will go join, but there's also going to be plenty of free content as well. My goal is to explain this transition between the dollar system today and this dollar/Bitcoin system of tomorrow, where the dollar isn't going away anytime soon. Matter of fact, it's going to be around and get even stronger as I think little smaller currencies will begin to die off in the face of more fierce competition from Bitcoin and the dollar. It's going to get a little messy And there's actually going to be quite a battle between those that denominate themselves in Bitcoin and those that denominate themselves in dollars. And it's going to be very interesting to watch unfold.
I want to talk a bit about the Lightning Network, because you are a big fan of the technology, but obviously it is still in its infancy.
Well, I love the Lightning Network. So the word layer in my writing traces its origins back to 2018, when I wrote a piece called The Bitcoin Second Layer, because Lightning Network has to be understood in the same layered architecture in which you have to have Bitcoin to use the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is simply an app for people that have Bitcoin to use Bitcoin with each other in an instant way, rather than using Bitcoin's blockchain, which can take as little as 10, but sometimes 30 to 60 minutes to get a transaction through the network. So Bitcoin's Lightning Network is a crucial part of Bitcoin's evolution, because layered frameworks have over 1,000 years of monetary history to back them and why they work. We can see that from gold certificates, what that did for commerce versus gold coins, and that type of money velocity acceleration and economic advance, cross-border, even cross-continent. Paper money helped the economy grow faster. And so Lightning Network is the same thing for Bitcoin. Lightning Network makes Bitcoin move faster, and so it can make the Bitcoin denominated economy move faster. Lightning Network is a game changer for Bitcoin. It always has been. That's why SegWit, the update from 2017, segregated witness, is the most important moment in Bitcoin's history. It allowed for the Lightning Network, and Lightning Network makes Bitcoin become a completely different asset than it was before 2017, 18. And look at the price since then. It's telling you that Bitcoin is much more than just gold. It's a digital empowerment for the future of the metaverse and everything in between. And Lightning Network is right at the middle of the digital nature of Bitcoin and what it allows for.
Are you concerned about the crypto space fragmentation and all these different coins, and perhaps the role the Bitcoin is having in this ecosystem?
I think it's all healthy. It all is an expression of technological advance. A lot of it, which is the reason that Bitcoin has so much more market value than everything else in existence, is because Bitcoin itself is not centralized. I think that is very apparent. What other cryptocurrencies are centralized and which ones are not is not so clear, right? And so in that, Bitcoin achieves this undoubtedly decentralized bid from the market. And everything else has some centralization or company risk associated with it, which acts as a discount to Bitcoin.
Do you think a regulation is good for the ecosystem to evolve, or do you think actually it's not good, at some point they can't do anything and just Bitcoin will win?
There's both sides to regulation. It's good in that many people wait for permission from their government to do things. The people that own Bitcoin already have not asked for permission, and that has rewarded them. But people that do like to ask for permission, for laws to exist in order to do things, or a framework to exist, it's going to help Bitcoin adoption, I think, around the world. And because people will just see that their government says, this is okay, you use Bitcoin in this way and follow the law and don't launder money. And, you can use Bitcoin and pay your taxes on it. More people will own it, use it, discover the technology, love it, build businesses on it, and all that. And so adoption will increase from regulation. But then again, some regulation can be bad in that it's overburdensome from a tax perspective. It is overburdensome from a privacy perspective. And those violations will cause Bitcoin to flee jurisdictions that are too restrictive for jurisdictions that are not. So I don't think that affects Bitcoin as a whole, because Bitcoin will travel. It's digital, so it'll just travel where it's legal and not taxed. But it will affect people in those jurisdictions. And so it is something to be aware of. Learn to use Bitcoin yourself so that you can deal with your own custody and your own privacy implications from that, instead of keeping them on an exchange necessarily. So if that is something that concerns you, learn how to use Bitcoin so that you can withdraw it. You don't have that risk. But for others, they might not be ready for that type of technological engagement. Some people are scared to entrust custody to themselves. Yeah. And so they'll want to be aware of regulations that are coming out from their government.
I mean, there are many people, they are interested in cryptocurrency and they will say, right, I'm just going to invest somewhere. And most of the time I say to them, if you are new to the crypto space, you should look at Bitcoin. Why do you agree with that, first of all? And why do you say that people new to the crypto space, they should look at Bitcoin rather than perhaps any other cryptocurrency?
Right. It is why I wrote my book. Why does Bitcoin exist? Because you need to understand gold, and it's a 1,000-year story at the very minimum that I tell. And I do it pretty quickly. It's only about 150 pages, but you have to explain why Bitcoin exists. Bitcoin exists because computer science allowed for technology that made digital scarcity possible. That's what Bitcoin has achieved. It's digital scarcity. It had never existed before. And that achievement in digital scarcity has been rewarded by the market, to the point where Bitcoin is still by far the #1 cryptocurrency by market value. And so if you want to start with something else, I don't know what to tell you. You're not interested in learning then. Exactly. It's just very clear that you're not interested in learning about what this whole thing is about. It's not like Bitcoin went to #1 and then fell down to #5. And I'm saying start with Bitcoin though. No, it has never lost its #1 place. In my opinion, it never will. And until it does, you need to start with Bitcoin to understand what this thing is even about. And don't get distracted by other things until you at least understand why Bitcoin is the #1 cryptocurrency by market value, and you can articulate that in some way.
If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel and podcast, click the subscribe button to stay up to date with our news and interviews. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time.